Yeah, I mean, obviously, Robin told us the news, and I immediately got asked to go and meet with Porrig and found out the situation, and was asked to obviously take the role on in an interim for these last 8 games of the season. And so, as you can imagine, a lot of shock, a lot of emotion, and I think that was a difficult day for everybody, for the players, for us, and yeah, that was kind of the situation, how it was handled and processed. Yeah.
As interim, what's going to be your approach? How similar or different from how the club's been? Or are you just bringing maybe a different energy and a different voice?
Yeah, I think exactly that. I think we're all really disappointed with where we are. Obviously, Robin's had to pay a sacrifice for that, which is really hurts us in terms of personal pride, in terms of the players. I think we know we've let our fans down. We're in a position that we're disappointed to be in. And when you get in that position, you lose confidence. And I think, you've seen recently the players are kind of low on confidence. And how do we break that momentum and that spiral? And so the biggest thing for us is an injection of energy, freshness to it, maybe changing the rhythm of how we've been working, the training, and trying to get confidence from that energy, from the freshness, but also from keeping things simple for them. And I think you get confidence from doing the simple things well. And so really getting back to basics and doing the simple things well, and them getting confidence from doing that.
Porg said the other day that the big thing was getting back to an identity that you had in 2021. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, I think it's been pretty clear, and there's been a lot of clarity from Porrig in terms of that, and that looks like to us being hard to beat, doing the simple things well, trying to get hard to beat. I think we all know we've conceded too many goals in transition. It's been really disappointing. So can we be hard to beat, and then can we be really effective in transition? And when we do those little things well and we keep it simple, I think confidence will start to grow, and you can expand on things from there. But for us, I think that's a clear identity that we're hoping to get to in these next 8 games.
Chris, uh, what does simplicity look like to you, and to help kind of restore the confidence and find that offensive rhythm again?
Yeah, I think it comes in two ways. I think it comes in terms of a team approach, so the principles of play. Are they really simple? Does everybody understand the team principles of what we're looking for? So are we having the right behaviours when we're in possession, when we're out of possession, and when we're in transition? So it starts with that. And then I think the next layer of that becomes clarity and simplification of the player's role. So what's their role? What are we expecting from them individually, within their line, within the units of the game? And so providing that clarity, simplifying it, I think then will hopefully lead to some confidence and improved performances and ultimately results, which our fans need.
Okay, gotcha. And tactically, I guess what can maybe fans expect next Saturday? That's maybe going to be slightly different than Robin and co. And what do you want, I guess, to see on the field from this group from a tactical point of view?
Yeah, I mean, I think as we outlined before, this identity we're looking for, being hard to beat, firstly, being hard to beat. And then I think from that, you have a platform to go and play. So we've worked on a lot of kind of defensive principles and simplification of what we want that to look like. And then in transition, we have got quick, explosive, attacking players. So can we be a real threat in transition? And I think from that, we'll hopefully get confidence, and our goal threat, expected goals and things of that nature can improve. But let's start with being hard to beat and a real threat in transition.
In terms of selecting an 11 in such like a kind of transitive period of the club, how involved is Borg going to be in that? Have you guys talked about that, and sort of are we going to see some big changes maybe compared to what Robin was rolling out in the last few games?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think in terms of which players play, that's the coaching staff, and that's our decision. And, we met with the players immediately. Our first meeting the day after was really on let's take ownership of this situation, from a coaching staff, from every department, performance to medical, analytics to the players. Let's all take ownership of it. We're all disappointed in where we are. We feel as though we've underachieved. Okay, how are we going to correct this problem? And what's the identity we want? What's the behaviours we need as a team to allow you to be successful? And the team went through a little process. We came up with those. So we have some behaviours that are going to be really important to us to the end of the season. And then I think from that, you obviously have to know things practically, right? We have, I think it's 7 games in 21 days. 4 of the next 5 are at home. So anybody would tell you if you're playing every 3 or 4 days, you need freshness. There needs to be some type of rotation. So I think everybody knows that, and it's been clear to the players that the training, earning the right to play, getting that opportunity, and building the relationships are going to be really important, and that's kind of the view.
So to follow up on that, would you say that maybe spots are a little more open than they were before in terms of earning a spot in the 11 now compared to even last week when Robin was around?
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime there's a new coach in any sport comes in, there's a freshness and a fresh start for people, right? And that's kind of the message is, look, things that now there's a new voice, there's new voices, there's a new start. We're trying things differently. We want you to take ownership of this, and it's open. Make us picky. We want to put the best players on the field to get our fans the victories that they deserve. So make us picky, you know.
You've had some previous coaching experience when you were with Tacoma. How much of that are you drawing on?
Yeah, I think I've been very fortunate. I've been a head coach multiple times. Had experience, I think, at all the levels. I was a head coach in Division 1 for a long period of time. Obviously, as you mentioned, I was the director of coaching for the Sounders and their academy programs. Oversaw a lot of people and managed a lot of things, and then obviously was a head coach for the second team. So you draw on all those experiences, and I think I've been very lucky and very fortunate in that I've worked in environments with very successful teams and organizations, and success leaves clues, and being around Seattle and 3 MLS Cups in 4 years, being around Brian every day and the staff there, you pick up lots of things. Being around here, Robin, all the methods, what we achieved, the highest points total for the club in 21, success leaves clues. You're always picking things up and learning. And so, yeah, I feel as though we're prepared for this situation. It's a tough situation to take over, but we've got 8 games to turn things around and get some personal pride back and get some things back that we want for the fans.
Have you gotten any indication from Pork that you're a candidate for the permanent opening?
I mean, it's not really been discussed, to be honest. For me, I have to put all my energy and focus and attention into the team and giving them and helping them get to a point where they can to be successful in these next games. So that's, as our staff, with Neil and Waldy and Sharpie and Jace, everything, all our energy and attention has just been how can we help the players and get them to a point to be successful in these games.
Just his first day, but what do you make of Luis Diaz so far?
Yeah, I mean, he came in late yesterday. He had a medical this morning. He was only able to obviously do the technical work. So it's been very early. But we're excited he's here. He's won an MLS Cup. He knows what it takes to win. He's been at a very successful organization. And so anytime you're in a team and you get an injection of a new player that knows what winning is, and they can bring that to our locker room with the skill sets he has, his pace, his attacking intent, it'd be really interesting to see how he does in these next few weeks. Obviously, I know he hasn't played recently with Columbus, and so, we'll get an assessment of where he is physically and how ready he is to play.
How important is it going to be to lean on the veterans that have been here for seasons and seasons that are maybe going through this for the first time or some even a second time, the coaching change, just to lean on them to know what to expect and how they can kind of help really in training every day and eventually leading onto the pitch?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, paramount. That was one of the first things we did. Met with the leadership group of the team that kind of a lot of older players, but also representative of all the different dynamics we have on the team. And it was meeting with them and just like an open, honest conversation. This is where we are. What's your opinion? What do we need to do? What are things we can change? How do you feel we can affect things that we can control? And how can we improve the environment? And ultimately, for the next 5 at home, 7 to get these 8 games, what can we do? How can we do it? And then it's our responsibility as a staff to implement these things.
How important was that feedback to hear right away and knowing, okay, this is what maybe where we didn't have this expectation, this is where they were thinking, and to meet them in the middle?
It's extremely important, and we'll meet weekly. It's going to be a weekly meeting with the leadership group, getting feedback from them, updates, but it's making sure that we have clarity. We're all on the same page. We all know what we're trying to do. We all know what they need to be successful. And that's been clear, and it's our constant job is to get their feedback. Are we achieving that? Are you being held accountable? Are we getting the behaviours we want to see from the team? And so that communication, and their experience. Some of these guys have played hundreds of games, so it's vital.
Cole had some pretty, I'd say, honest words after the Salt Lake loss. Is that mood kind of throughout all the players after losing, the third game to a rival like that? And how are they going to kind of try and channel that, turn it into a win at home here coming up?
Yeah, no, I really appreciate his honesty. I think everybody's disappointed. Everybody from the staff to the players knows that we've underachieved. We've let our fans down. We're really disappointed about that. And that hits your personal pride. And that's the thing that we've really talked about is this isn't good enough for ourselves individually, our own pride, but also what we represent, our club and our fans. And the support this year has been fantastic, as you guys know, at the stadium. And so we have a duty and a responsibility here to try and address that, towards the end of the season. And for me, you being that open, that honesty and emotion is a good start.